Now, you may not know this about me, but one of my biggest dreams growing up was to be a mom. I wanted a household of kids and a husband to do life with. And yet, here I am, my early 30s, still living that single life. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind living the single life, but it's not my dream growing up. But each year, May rolls around and we celebrate Mother's Day. It's always a little bittersweet. Now, don't get me wrong, I love celebrating my mom. My mom's pretty amazing. She has a huge heart for her family and friends and loves to serve others in whatever way she can. My mom's an amazing Oma as well, and my nieces are so blessed to have her. She's always there when we need her and will still do anything for us kids and the grandkids. She's pretty amazing, and God has definitely blessed our family because of her, and that totally deserves to be celebrated. But when I sit in church and we celebrate moms, part of my heart hurts for what it isn't true yet for me. I look around the room and see others like me, sitting there with part of our hearts hurting for what is not us. Now, some women are like me, and they're single. Others are married and do not yet have kids. Others are married and may be physically unable to have kids. And then there's some who are married but have suffered through a miscarriage, or more than one. And we sit in service with a smile on our face and pain in our hearts, celebrating the moms. And for us, Mother's Day is not always a good day. Now, a few years ago, while I was attending university in Edmonton, I was in church one Sunday, and our pastor spent the whole sermon talking about Mother's Day. Now, I don't know about you, but for the most times, these sermons I kind of just tuned out growing up because they didn't really apply to me. And, I just sort of sit there and pay attention somewhat. But unlike previous years, this one was a little different. He spoke on Deuteronomy 6, which isn't your typical Mother's Day sermon. So here's what God has to say in Deuteronomy. He says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. And these commands that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them to your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates." Did you catch what God is saying there? He said in the beginning of Deuteronomy 6, "Hear, O Israel." Now, this isn't a command given to just the parents, but to the whole community. It isn't, "Hear, O parents." It is, "Hear, O Israel." As a community, they were to talk about the commands God had given them. And as a community, they were to raise up their children. Today, when we do baby dedications, our whole church stands up and makes a commitment to the parents, to be there to support them and to help raise their children. And I love this because it's a continuation of what God commanded in Deuteronomy 6. It takes a community to raise up a child. Now, I may not be a mom, but I am a spiritual mother to the kids I work with. I am invested in their lives and help them grow spiritually. I come alongside parents, encouraging and equipping them as they teach their children. I have those I have mentored in my life and those who have mentored me. And the impact we have on the children and those we mentor is eternal. So I want you to think about those who were spiritually invested in your life, those older women who may or may not have had kids. They may have not been your physical mother, but the impact they've had on your life is just as important. Those women in my life helped through many different times, supporting, encouraging, praying when my mom couldn't be there. They looked after me, they cared for me, just like my own mother would. Right? Unfortunately, though, not all of our kids come from good homes, and their stories hurt our hearts. But even so, we can come alongside these precious kids and be a spiritual parent to them. And the impact of a spiritual parent is eternal. And so, while you may not be a physical mother, you are a spiritual mom to the children you work with and those kids in your life. And that deserves to be celebrated. So this Sunday, stand up and take your place with the other moms in church. You deserve it. To all the moms and spiritual moms out there, I wish you a very happy Mother's Day. Now, to all the men reading this, celebrate your mom. She's a pretty important person. But don't forget about those other women who have invested in your life. The others who have come alongside. The other ones who are investing in the children of your church. Happy Mother's Day.